What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back here with another video, and today we're kicking off the 3-round mock for the pre-week 11 mock draft, which is quite insane. Yeah, it's been a long journey, so I'm glad that we continue doing this because this week there's a big change up. The Eagles keep moving all their picks down the draft, so we're gonna have a much different draft because obviously different teams picking different places produces different results. So let's start off with the number 1 overall pick. With the Detroit Lions, I don't think there's much discussion here. Just to save y'all's time, we all kind of know that KT is the number 1 prospect in this draft class. You know, he is just kind of that different type of edge defender. Aiden Hutchinson is starting to give him a run for his money, but the hype from KT over the consistent years, from him being the number 1 prospect in high school to now the number 1 prospect coming out of college, is enough of a resume to just get him to be solidified as a number 1. We just know it's coming. He just has that uncanny, unique ability to take over a game, and that's pretty damn awesome. Number 2 with the Jets. Now, this is a spot where you can go, I think, 4 different routes, which I did not realize that TDM put Ikem Ekwonu above Evan Neal. You can go Kyle Hamilton here. You can go Derek Stingley here. Although, to be honest, I don't know another team that's going to take a corner until probably pick 8. So you can take Kyle Hamilton. You can take Derek Stingley. You can take Aiden Hutchinson. You can take Evan Neal. Now, I want to throw out the idea of Evan Neal right now because I think that's the right pick. Safety-wise, Kyle Hamilton. Let's see what happens if we don't take him, right? There's a big drop-off. However, the talent is still excellent. Jaquan Brisker, Daxton Hill, Jordan Battle, Jalen Catalon, Brandon Joseph, Lewis Sign. These guys are really, really good ass safeties. So I don't think passing on Kyle Hamilton is that much of a drop-off. Let's look at the corners, which I think there's a big drop-off. However, you guys can make up your own minds. You got Derek Stingley. I think that there's, at the worst, we're going to get Kyrie Lamar or Sauce Gardner. That's the worst case scenario. Unless we go a different position, which then we still have another early 2nd round pick where you can still get Martin Emerson. Roger McCreary has been playing well this year. Hell, Kyler Gordon, who was he was at number 3 overall, if I'm not mistaken, in PFF's mock draft. So yeah, I mean, I've liked him for quite a while now. However, there's a different level of like him, which we'll have a mock out on Sunday. Just this week's been a little bit crazy. But honestly, the big thing is look at tackle. You pass on a right tackle in Evan Neal. Yes, he can play left, but we're obviously not going to put him over Mekhi Becton. But then what's the next one? Nicholas Petit-Frere. That's the next guy. Daniel Faalele. There's just a huge drop-off. And I think that teams do actually analyze what happens if we pass on a guy like Evan Neal. And the most valuable position, which the Jets defense isn't that terrible. Like, they have some pretty damn solid pieces as it is. The offense needs a couple pieces to tweak. And Evan Neal is the perfect guy to start it out. I think he's just the perfect prospect. People will start crying talking about Ikem Ekwonu. People need to understand that there's left tackles and right tackles, not just offensive tackles. And Evan Neal is dominated at right tackle. He showed up, was really, really, really raw last year, and developed into a number 1 overall caliber pick by the end of the year at right tackle. So I fell in love with Evan Neal at right tackle. I honestly think he's better there, even though he's been playing pretty damn well this year. I think he's better at right tackle, so I'd be pretty damn happy with that. Number 3 with the Jaguars. This is another spot where I could see all 3 of these guys, including even Ikem Ekwonu at the spot. I could definitely see all 3 of those guys going. Now, this is a spot where I might consider going after a game record like Kyle Hamilton. I think that's the right move. Just because, again, we could go Jaquan Brisker in the next round, but like, the edge class is so good. Do you really need to go Aiden Hutchinson? Also, he doesn't really fit a 3-4 that well. He does play more of that 4-3 style. It's a little bit tough. Obviously, Derek Stingley is the shiny option. It's the guy who has the crazy resume as one of the best freshmen of all time. But Kyle Hamilton is the most unique safety of all time. If Evan Neal were here, I'd take him over these two guys in a heartbeat. You guys know me. I'm all offensive line. Ikem is certainly an interesting prospect. Change this draft up crazy, but we're not here to make crazy picks. We're here to make legit picks that might have a bit of intrigue. So Kyle Hamilton at that spot, he's an excellent option. Really unique safety, has the size, has the speed, has the IQ, has everything you want. I just don't think a safety should go in the top 2. Top 3, I mean, you guys might be saying that's like nitpicking. Like it doesn't really matter 2 or 3. The value of those picks are pretty huge. Number 4 with the Texans, another team that can go. Derek Stingley, Aiden Hutchinson, even Ikem Ekwonu. Yes, I think right tackle will be a good spot. However, you don't have a right tackle here. Dude, Ikem is such a beast. I mean, I could definitely, if you guys wanted to, you could have even put him in that 3 and I would have been happy. Just, he is that good. I'm going to be leaning toward Aiden Hutchinson here. Again, people, I mean, I'd highlight how corners they don't always pan out. They have a pretty low success rate in the first round. These second round corners, not going to lie, do actually make a pretty big impact. But I just don't think the value of a Derek Stingley is nearly as much as Aiden Hutchinson. I've been a big fan of sending Aiden Hutchinson to the Texans' way. Recently, I've been sending him Evan Neal, but for some reason, the Jets are above him in the draft order. So cheers to the Jets. Getting Evan Neal and not Aiden Hutchinson, it's not much of a drop off. It's not much of a gain either, but it's just where the draft fell. And I think both these guys are 5-star prospects. They're really, really good. This draft is starting to pan out. At the beginning, it was a little bit boring. Aiden Hutchinson was still his 285-pound self, where it was just, like you, it was nothing special. But now he lost some weight and has taken his game to another level. And that is something that's spectacular, because I am always down to say, hey, 1, I'm wrong. But 2, you worked on yourself when you didn't need to, and you made your game better. So Aiden Hutchinson was a fringe first for me for the start of the year, maybe mid-second. Now he's a bona fide top 5. So absolute monster there. Number 5 with the Giants. This is a spot where you can go Karlaftis. You can go DeMarvin Leal. They're not going to go Derek Stingley. It's a weird spot though, because I don't really want to take DeMarvin Leal at 5, even though I will. I don't really see any other team that's going to take DeMarvin Leal in the meantime. Derek Stingley's here. You're not going to take him. You could trade with the team that wants to take him. I just did a trade. I have Tourette's. I don't. But this is I'm probably going to go DeMarvin Leal anyways. George Karlaftis is getting a little bit too much hype. I like the kid, and he is absolutely phenomenal. He doesn't bend all that well, has excellent technique, but he's meant to be on the outside more than DeMarvin Leal is. And DeMarvin Leal is a weird hybrid. They're using him at D tackle, I think a 3 tech. And I wouldn't use him there. I'd use him more closer to that 5 tech. But this is a team where, like, you guys do run 3-4 sub packages, and this is his perfect zone for it. You're going up against the Cowboys, where their offensive line is deteriorating. Great. Washington, their offensive line is great, but they're losing key pieces, and then their left tackles are getting older. See if we can fix that. And to be honest, you look at the Giants. Well, he's not going up against his own offensive line. I was just bugging. I thought that I was drafting for a different team. Even if he was going up against the Giants, as he will in practice, DeMarvin Leal will make them better because they're complete crap. If it were me, this is how I'd do it. I would go, obviously, I would take the chance on Ikem to move him to right tackle. I don't think, it's a pick that I would do, but a pick that I don't think will happen. I just don't think Ikem Ekwonu will actually want to play right tackle. And I think teams will understand that. He was really raw last year, looked like he was going to be a pure guard, and he took another guy who took his game to the next level. So can I see a team moving up to select him? No. Maybe if he continues over the next game or 2 to just show out and then has a crazy combine, then yes. As I said, he could have gone at number 3. But you also look at the other team in this division, and to be honest, this whole entire, the Eagles offensive line is starting to become weaker. I know Eagles fans don't want to hear that, but Jordan Mailata at left tackle over a prime Jason Peters. I love Mailata. He's a beast, especially in the run game, but in the pass pro, not nearly as good. You look at Landon Dickerson doing really, really well, right? But you're losing Brandon Brooks, which, to be fair, he hasn't been much of an asset recently. Jason Kelsey, probably going to be on the way out. Lane Johnson, he's over 30, going to be closing in on the end of his career. So in the future, this team will have Leonard Williams, unless you guys get rid of him within those 3 years, DeMarvin Leal, Azeez Ojulari. Like, this is a monster front that you're building. And DeMarvin Leal is perfect for it. I mean, you could go Jordan Davis and go nose tackle, but I love DeMarvin Leal's ability to be flexible on what you go on and do with them. Number 6 with the Jets. I think this is a pretty straightforward pick. I don't know how the hell it happens, but Derek Stingley Jr. falls to 6. You take Derek Stingley Jr. Now, injuries can definitely lead a player to falling, and he's been pretty unavailable the past 2 years. I don't think that should exactly disqualify a player, but it shouldn't qualify a player to be in the top 5. Just because if you haven't shown what you've been like in the past 2 years, then how do we know what you actually are like? Derek Stingley started getting picked on as well. I do have my concerns. However, the upside is too good to pass on, especially for a team like the Jets. Number 7, back with the Giants. I mean, hell, dude, I honestly just might go for it. Do I just go balls to the wall and go for a right tackle? And just say Ikem's going to be a right tackle? I don't think I do. We could trade back here, but I mean, Tyler Linderbaum's on the board. I legit think that there is a market that Tyler Linderbaum is a top 10, top 5 prospect in the NFL. I think NFL offices see that. This guy is beyond a stud. Like Tyler Linderbaum, he is, in my opinion, and I love Evan Neal, the best offensive lineman pound for pound in the draft. I think he is. Now, does that mean I'm going to take him here? No, because I don't think the Giants are that into a 290-pound center. That being said, they do have dudes who are like 305. So it is reasonable, but I'm not going to do it. Now, I can see a guy like Kenyon Green, who's played both left and right tackle, being a solid option here. He is very versatile, showed that he could play a true left. There's a lot to like about him. However, I think this is a good spot to trade back. I really don't like the idea of forcing a left tackle to move to right. And I really don't like the idea of forcing a guard pick. That is, of course, not Tyler Linderbaum at this spot. So I'm going to trade back. I could see some teams looking for a true left tackle, looking for a quarterback, trying to move up into this range. And I mean, I'm trying to find a team that would really want to move up. And honestly, there are some teams in here that are going to be drafting a left tackle. The Dolphins, I did this last time, but I didn't do it with the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. The Giants are going to be moving back with the Dolphins. Again, it also gets another left tackle out of the division. Moving up with the Giants, I already said that, to be able to select a bona fide 5-star prospect. So we're going to send 2 1s in here. I know the Giants are notoriously pain in the ass to trade with. So we're going to see if we can get this through. A 1, and a 3 could get it done. Honestly, I might try to. How the fuck does that make sense? I don't know if you guys saw that, but a 2021 3 with that would make it likely, but a 2022 3rd-round pick makes it very likely. I think that's more of a fair trade. Sending 2 1s, pretty much having your pick, is probably the best move. And Ikem Ekwonu is definitely worth it. I think that he's worth easily 2 first-round picks, especially for a team like the Dolphins, where I think the Niners have a big bounce back year next year. And I don't think they're going to be picking in the top. I think they're going to be picking in the top 10 as their own team. So this is a way to revive their franchise. I think the Niners are going to give them like a top 20 pick. So you're sending the number 14 pick and a top 20 pick to the Giants. And also the Giants need offensive linemen in the future anyways. So it works out for both teams. And this is a spot where I could really see a team like the Dolphins selecting a guy that's a high-end prospect like that. At number 8 for the Eagles, it sucks because I would have loved to have gone Derek Stingley, DeMarvin Leal, Aiden Hutchinson. Like, this is just a weird spot. However, I don't think all hope is lost because there's Karlaftis on the board. I don't think I love my boy Broshmo, but I don't think his definition of non-edgy, non-bendy edge defenders being Karlaftis's his reasoning behind taking George is a good idea. That's just not my cup of tea. However, I still think he is worth the pick. That being said, I know at least one corner is going to be going. We could just take the better of the two when we get to pick 11, which wouldn't be a bad idea. And honestly, the more I think of it, the more I like it. Regardless, we get to choose whoever the hell we want. I honestly think Sauce Gardner is better than Kaiir Elam. Just again, the competition is going to boost Kaiir Elam up to the pick 9 spot. I have both those guys in my top 10. I think they are actually player 9 and 10 on my big board that I made a little bit ago. So at this spot, I really do want to look at edge. I really do. Personally, I want to talk about David Ojabo. This guy is a beast, but I don't think he's a top 20 to 25 prospect. I just look at him. He's the man right here. Aiden Hutchinson makes him look kind of like a mid-rounder, but obviously that's just because Aiden Hutchinson's that good. There are guys who I'd be comfortable taking next round for the Eagles. I'd be happy taking a Kingsley Enagbare. I think he's going to be going this round anyways. Jermaine Johnson, Zach Harrison. These guys are really good, but George Karlaftis brings the heat, and I don't think I can pass on him. That being said, let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to go Tyler LINDERBAUM here. The right guard spot, Brandon Brooks is going to be gone. We already know the center position of Jason Kelsey can't last too much longer. We're going to go Tyler LINDERBAUM here. It's a spot where we're still going to get a corner. I don't think Howie is going to go defense. I personally would go defense. 100%. Just don't think that's the way it's going to go. So to put my touch of offense in this draft for the Howie Roseman stamp of approval, I'm going to get a amazing offensive lineman. By the way, he's going to be gone within probably the next few picks. He'd be gone by 14 for sure, but this dude's just too good. I don't think Karlaftis is worth the pick. So that's where I was having a hard time, and we're already going to get the corner, and then we can get a safety or a linebacker later on. So plus we're probably going to get Devin Lloyd there anyways. We're fine. We're perfectly fine. Number 9, we got to get cornerback for this team. I don't think Karlaftis, again, is worth this pick. I think Kaiir Elam's a more exciting prospect, and he's going to get drafted above Sauce, and that's going to be putting him right there. Again, I think it's a perfectly fine spot. Kaiir Elam to the Falcons. Really, really good pick. Unfortunately for the Washington football team, they could not hit their mark with getting a true left tackle in Ikem Ekwonu. Now, Charles Cross is still on the board. I don't think Charles Cross is going to be fitting with what this team wants. That being said, they do still need a quarterback. I think they could trade back from this pick, to be honest. I'm going to have my points about Matt Corral here. Now, I think that he has a better chance of taking this team to the Super Bowl than Taylor Heineke by a long shot. He has led the Ole Miss offense consistently to very, very high prestige. However, I love my guy. He's a very good man. He's a very good dude. I think he's kind of boring. I don't really find what I see as something that gets me excited to watch him. I watched him versus Malik Willis, where Matt Corral exponentially performed better statistically. I thought Malik Willis outperformed him 10 times to 1. However, we all know Malik Willis won't be able to perform at the NFL level for a while. I think a guy like Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell will be a better option at the late first than Matt Corral is now. I have a weird feeling the quarterbacks are going to drop, and there's going to be a big reason for it. I think this spot is open for trades. I really do. I think it's a good spot open for trades, and there's going to be a team making a small move up. I think that's a fair spot to make a move up. And they're both in the NFC, but one team is the Panthers. And I know that a lot of teams are going to be very hyped about Malik Willis. This team is literally perfectly built for Malik. Well, we're going to have to give up maybe a next year third for it. I don't think a next year 4 is going to cut it. I know it does on the mock draft simulator, but in return, we can ask for a 6th, just do that. I think that's fair. So we're going to send in a 1 and a 3 as well and get a 6 in return to move up for a quarterback in Malik Willis. I still think he's QB1 this draft. When people see his pro day, people are going to be, their jaws are going to drop to the floor. This is a team that is very young, and you will probably have Cam Newton. You'll re-sign him. He's playing pretty damn well for this team. So that is literally the picture perfect mentor for Malik Willis. I just think that teams are going to find Matt Corral to be boring, finding open targets. That being said, he's still a damn good quarterback, but I'm saying my reasons why they draft a guy like Malik Willis who performed inferior to Matt Corral above him. Number 11, back with the Eagles. This is going to be a Sauce Gardner pick. I just don't think the corners in round 2 are going to be nearly as good as the edge talent, and we got to get a corner. You know, I've been gassing up Steven Nelson. I'll admit he hasn't been performing that well. At the start of the year, he was PFF top 30 defensive back. However, we already know you kind of know what you're getting with Steven Nelson. He's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster, but Sauce Gardner is exponentially better. He's an absolute beast. I would dare say he's the best performing corner in this draft, above Roger McCreary, especially this year. And that's saying because Roger McCreary is playing very well this year. Sauce Gardner is a beast. Number 12 with the Washington football team. Again, I'm considering taking Matt here. I just talked about how boring he was, but he is a really solid quarterback. He's a quarterback that can take this team pretty damn far. Kenny Pickett wise, he might be able to take him farther, but I would never take Kenny Pickett anywhere near this range. I could use those next year draft capital to be able to move up to select a quarterback like Kenny Pickett later in the first. But for now, this is a good spot to probably look at offensive line. And I think that's where they are going to look. Charles Cross is still here. I'm just saying he put on a bit of weight and he looks really good at it. To me, his age and the fact he could sit a year might be a little bit too intriguing. I would heavily consider taking a guy like Kenyon Green here, but the value of a tackle is exponentially greater. And I'm not going to say that Kenyon Green is going to be a bona fide left tackle after one really good game. Because again, you can't say one really good game defines a career. That's debatable. Of course, talk about Eli Manning, but there's a big difference in college. Charles Cross out of Mississippi State, you're trading back, getting an extra third and getting a dude who you probably would have taken there at number 10. Why not? So now with the Broncos here, I still think you can go quarterback. I think Matt Corral, this is a perfect team for Matt Corral because you got guys who can separate, you got big ass dudes, and you got really good tight ends. This is a perfect spot for Matt Corral. Washington was a pretty close second. This team is desperate for a dude who can actually lift them up, and Matt Corral's the perfect guy for that. Like, I just think, again, Malik Willis is a lot more exciting, and a team that can sit him a year, which you can still sit Matt Corral, but a team that could sit him a year would be pretty damn beneficial. I think the Panthers and Malik Willis are just perfect. 14 with the Giants. I would heavily consider a quarterback if Matt Corral were not taken. I just would. I don't think Daniel Jones is the option. I have been on that train for a very long time, and people have tried to defend Daniel Jones. No. We're going to go the same old boring picks here. Apologies to my Giants fans. I think the offensive line is a big issue, and Darian Kennard is a right tackle, right guard prospect that is perfect for what this team looks for. You want bigger guys in the interior, Darian Kennard's your guy in the short term. If you want a true right tackle, Darian Kennard's your answer in the long term. I think that it's the only team that's going to overhype him to the point where he's going to be taken that high. And I mean, he's not that overhyped. He's a very, very good prospect for how far he's come. And there's a lot to like about what Darian Kennard brings to the table. Number 15 with the good old Raiders. This could be a corner. This could be a corner for sure, because you do have a guy in Casey Hayward that has shown how much of an impact a high-end corner could bring to this team. Jordan Davis is still on the board, though. This guy is unbelievable. And I think that the drop-off from him to, Devontae Wyatt or Travis Jones is too much. Jordan Davis is going to be getting top 10 hype. I just think that he falls maybe to 15. Just take the highest end prospect that you can for the Raiders. You can go next round with a guy like, let's just say Darian Kendrick, Kyler Gordon. and be able to be perfectly fine versus a guy like Travis Jones. I think his name's Travis Jones. Is it? Yeah, it is Travis Jones. He's actually going to the Senior Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So he's not. He's a true junior. I thought I saw him. He was going to the Senior Bowl. Regardless, I think the value is a lot better for Jordan Davis here. At number 16 with the Eagles, Karlaftis is still on the board. I just have a hard time saying that we can't go a guy like Devin Lloyd. It's tough. We could trade up for Brandon Smith at the end of the one though, because Devin Lloyd's a beast. Brandon Smith seems a little bit more like an Eagle to me than Devin Lloyd. It doesn't really feel like that flashy of a pick. You know, you could. I mean, I'm just looking at it. Brandon Smith's also a bit heavier. He's younger. He's heavier. He's faster. I think that Brandon Smith might be the right option for this team. And that's going to be kind of weird to you guys because I'm going to be drafting George Karlaftis to this team. I know my buddy Keon doesn't like George Karlaftis, but I mean, hell, the value of a George Karlaftis at 16 is insane. His talent's ridiculous. He has excellent pass rushing moves and he's very quick. I think he does have just those really quick firing hands and he has a very polished toolkit. That's perfect. It's a mid-round pick as well, guys. So I'd rather draft an edge talent at 16 than a linebacker. I know that linebacker is a huge need, but I'm pretty sure that we could trade up for Brandon Smith if we wanted to. So George Karlaftis out of Purdue going right there. Yeah, I think, again, he is just, as long as he stays healthy, which he has this whole year, which is great. It's great to see that he's healthy now. It's undeniably that he is a top 10 talent. I would say top 5 talent, but we'll say undisputably he is a top 10 talent when healthy. Health can push people down, and it pushes them here. 17 with the good old Brownies. Now, this is a spot where I like to go Karlaftis or Davis. No longer the case. So we go our first wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Perfect replacement for Odell Beckham Jr. I think that he's an absolute rock star. So Garrett Wilson rocking it out. Now, number 18, the Steelers are sitting here, and quarterback is certainly something I want to target. And whether that's Kenny Pickett, whether that's Sam Howell, I don't know. That being said, I don't think, I mean, it makes sense why the Steelers would go Kenny Pickett. I think the Steelers like a guy with a stronger arm. I think the Steelers have had 5 years to look at Kenny Pickett, and they've seen the other 4. They're glad to see that he finally goes and lights it up in his final year. And he had ankle injury last year, so there is an excuse for that. This is a spot where I'm going to be taking Sam Howell. I did in the last draft as well. You know, the rocket arm talent is just crazy good for Sam Howell. He has no offensive line. He has almost no weapons anymore besides Josh Downs. This is a team where he can come in, have Najee Harris, and have obviously Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. This is a good spot for him. And this is probably where he's going to show why he was my number 1 quarterback in the draft for when it started out. Sam Howell's a beast. Number 19, I don't know why quarterback is such a big issue for the Saints. Obviously, we hope that Jameis Winston returns. We don't know, but he might. He should, because they're getting Chris Olave. Just really good deep threat. I always love the Chris Olave fit here, so we're going to be sticking to it. Number 20 with the Saints. Not the Saints, the freaking Vikings. We can go corner. Andrew Booth, Trent McDuffie, both really damn solid talents. We could also go safety because, again, you do have solid dudes like Jordan Battle here. I'm going to be going the corner route again. And, again, it's a toss-up, whoever the hell you want. I just think Trent McDuffie fits a little bit more of what the Vikings look for. He just feels a little bit more like a Viking, so we're going to be sticking to it. And Andrew Booth's going to be going here. Yes, we could go Kenyon Green, fix the offense. I just think that the pick of Andrew Booth's a little bit too good, so we're going to take it right there. 22, with the Chargers, we are going to be going offensive line here. And we're going to be going Kenyon Green. I think I'm going to run to the podium with this pick. Yeah, you got that right guard, right tackle spot freeing up in the near future. Sean Ryan is considered an interior offensive lineman. Wow. I mean, I thought that at the beginning of the year, but I didn't think they were going to switch him. That's crazy. Sorry, I just had a little nerdgasm right there because personally, I thought he fit better as a guard. I can show you guys my original notes on him. I thought he could be a very, very high-level guard, to put it simply. At this spot, Nicholas Petit-Frere is still here. Trevor Penning is too, but I don't want to spend a first round pick on a raw prospect to move positions. Nicholas Petit-Frere was playing extremely high level right tackle, excellent replacement at left tackle too. If someone gets hurt, I think that's just a bona fide 5-star pick, and you got to fix up the offensive line. So sorry for the boringness, because I do like to take Nicholas Petit-Frere, but that's the way it goes. 24 with the good old Buccaneers. We still have Devin Lloyd on the board, by the way. So I can see a team trying to move up for him. David Ojabo would be a fun pick here. Just not going to do it. I could go Trevor Penning as well. Left tackle spot isn't secure. Oof, this is a tough one. I sound like Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen when he's trying to make an elimination. I think they go after probably the best talent on the board, the secondary. I just think that that's the best route that they can go. You go for the most upside pick, or else you go for the best secondary pick. I think Jordan Battle is kind of bona fide the better all-around safety in the class, and this is a good spot for him. Pairing him up with Antoine Winfield Jr. would be a pretty nasty duo as well. I do like that. So getting him, obviously you don't have another high-end corner besides Martin Emerson on the board. I just don't think they take corner 5 over safety 2. Just my opinion. 25 with the good old Kansas City Chiefs. This is a good spot for a guy like Ojabo, Myjai Sanders. Ojabo is a little bit light for this team, though. So Myjai is I thought he was 265. That's on me. We're going to go for a guy a little bit heavier here. Kingsley Enagbare. Obviously, it's not going to be the bona fide reason why he gets taken over these guys. I think he is as talented as them. It's just, I think Kingsley Enagbare has just been playing really well, and he fits the scheme a little bit better than a guy like Ojabo, a guy like Myjai Sanders. Adding those 10 pounds makes a difference. Excuse me. Kingsley Enagbare is going to be locking it up. 26 with the Patriots. Again, corner, something I could look for. I really am starting to like this idea of Jahan Dotson. Getting a guy who's very good after the catch. He's able to take over his team. I think Bill Belichick likes a guy who is a one-man wrecking crew. I think he's a great guy. For this team. Jahan Dotson to the Patriots. I mean, can you imagine that? You got guys who can stretch the field like Kendrick Bourne. Now you have a guy like Jahan Dotson who A, can stretch the field, but B, can separate and play very well. That's the thing. He can fall to the late second or go late first. It doesn't really matter where. It's not saying Jahan Dotson or any of these dudes are worth this pick and other guys aren't. It's just they're that damn good. This pick, I'm going to be going Treylon Burks. I think that pick is just insanely good. It makes sense. So Treylon Burks, it's his. Number 28 with the Cowboys. I honestly have a weird feeling they're going to trade back from the spot. There's teams going to be trying to trade up for a guy like Devin Lloyd. And honestly, I could see a team like the Titans trading up for a Devin Lloyd. I could see teams trying to trade up for Trevor Penning, a true left tackle. Obviously, I could see their own division rival trying to get a true left tackle. And I'm pretty sure we did not. Yeah, okay, we already did go left tackle for him. I was like, it kind of feels weird. I feel like I don't remember what I got for him. There are teams that do look for a true left, and a team like the Ravens are one of them. So Trevor Penning is going in the next 2 picks. Just a heads up. I'm just trying to see if there's a team that would actually want to trade up here, because Devin Lloyd's on the board. He's a really, really good linebacker. And there's also damn good quarterbacks on the board. Desmond Ritter's picking up some heat. Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong. Just not many of these teams are looking for a quarterback right now. But I could see a team like the Lions moving up for him. Like, I think that the beginning of next rounds where we're going to see a lot of quarterbacks go off the board. And are there any teams that are going to be taking a quarterback here? No, but there could be teams trying to move up to take a quarterback. So a team, well, like Washington, trying to move up for a guy like Kenny Pickett or Desmond Ridder, could certainly be trying to move up here. Trying to see a team that might try to scoop in on that. You can see the Vikings. Don't really think that's going to be the case. Kirk Cousins been playing very well. Just, it's tough to say that. I mean, the Lions should be trading up here. You have the draft capital, and honestly, it's a small trade. It's something you could probably do for a 3rd round pick. And I know the team, they needed desperately a linebacker, but we could trade up for a linebacker too. That is a tough one. This is a tough ass spot. Of course, I do this all live for you guys because doing it pre-recorded is boring as hell. I think that going after a quarterback's worth it. over a linebacker, I think it's worth it. There could be a team like the, you know what? We're gonna have the Titans. We don't like going NFC team all the time. We're gonna have the Titans move up for a guy like Devin Lloyd. I know you guys have some dudes who are playing pretty well at the linebacker spot right now, anyways. It's just, I think that the value is kind of insane. So we'll see if we can get it through for maybe a this year 4. We have 2 this year 4s. Maybe we can get a 6th rounder in return. No, maybe next year 7. There you go. Get as much, like, I forget which YouTuber does it, but when he plays Madden, he says like feed the pig. I think that's the right spot to do it. Devin Lloyd is, I mean, you can go Nakobe Dean as well. I think Devin Lloyd's just the best instant impact, and this is a team that needs an instant impact. 29 for the Ravens. I think this is a great spot for Trevor Penning. If he, like, it's just, there's no real need to explain myself right there. He is a damn solid left tackle, and his athleticism's off the charts. He is pretty much the better version of Spencer Brown. 30 for the Giants. Jesus, the Packers. Well, I don't know why the hell, like I always see that and see a G. I'm like Giants. This is a spot where I would have went Trevor Penning as well, but I honestly think it's a good spot to trade back. Like, Drake London's here. We're gonna go Drake London out of USC. I don't think we need to think too much about that. You guys got to get a wide receiver here, and you got to show some respect to Drake London. We're going to take him right there. 31. I really think a team wants to go after Nakobe Dean. I really do. And Christian Harris is also on the board. So I might see a team try to jump the Lions for a guy like Nakobe Dean. Again, we're not going to be able to trade up with the Eagles. That's just not possible. I'm seeing if there's a team that would probably want to move up for a linebacker, and I'm not going to have the Dolphins move up twice. So we are going to just take this pick. There are teams that need a quarterback, and it's like kind of irritating me. We're going to definitely move up to the 32 spot for a quarterback. But again, that's just how the draft falls. You may say it's ludicrous, but whatever. This is going to be honestly a spot we're going to go Jaquan Brisker here. Really good enforcer out of Penn State. We're already on the Penn State track as it is. So I don't think we're going to trade back once more. Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State is going to sneak into the first. Really, really high-end safety. 32 with the good old Cardinals. They are going to be fielding offers left, right, and center for a quarterback. They're going to be trading back only a couple spots with Washington because, again, I think we're still going to get a very high-end edge prospect right there. We're going to move back with the Cardinals. We don't have too many picks here, but I think a 4th should do. We could probably fleece out a 6th or a 5th round pick. We'll do a 6th just for fun. You know, just get that in there. The Cardinals accepted the offer, and we are going to be able to select a solid ass prospect who can bring this team pretty damn far. And Kenny Pickett, he's developed a lot. I think he's a great pick for the spot. So that's going to be the draft. Let me know what you guys think. Come back tomorrow for round 2. See you on the far side. Peace.